Is familiar. I've never read them. I've just been told about them. I've never sat and read them. The stories of Jeremiah and Elijah. I never, you know, I there's very little of the Bible that I've read. I read Daniel and Revelation. Other times I've gone and I look at, I listen to other people tell the stories, and then I go, there's a few things I think I've read in Exodus and Genesis, but I've read, and all the scientists know that I've read very little of the Bible. Most of it secondhand news. Not really. It's just connecting and understanding. Mom, I've noticed that when I read the classics that Mom ordered, Plato and Socrates, and yeah, and then yeah, the gentleman from the University of Chicago that came and basically interviewed me for like a half an hour, 2 hours. I thought I was going to get fired. Here in the psychology department at the University of Chicago sat out and talked to me, and he was just, they knew, they have a bio on me and they know what I do. And they, I've been surveyed my whole life, the way that I explained Pascal and read Pascal. It's like, this guy barely even read it. He only read 2 chapters. He knows all about them. He can explain them better to you than people that have done their thesis on them and studied them for 30 years. Yeah. Mom said it was unfair. Um, like with mathematics and understanding scientific methods and things like that. Yeah. I understand them more deeply than people that can break it down to you into a quirk. Yeah, and well, life's eternal, grace is infinite. And if you need to do something, it'll be available to you if it needs to be done. And the real truth about, people like the Messiah is just, I don't think people couldn't fully comprehend or understand Suzuki or Selassie or Krishnamurti real well. It just it's beautiful the way that faithful people communicate and do things. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's way different than that. What was the name of that show I just watched? Star Trek, with the one with the rock planet with the yeah. And the important things about the Bible with the stories about that was tired initially started talking about stories about Jeremiah and Elijah is you can't have opinions when it comes to religion, and you can't make up your own theology or your own theories about religion. Okay, religion is good and bad, right and wrong, and truth and lie. So religion has to be lived truthfully, and it can't be based off of a philosophy, and it can't be based off of theology. You can't believe in things that you can't explain or understand in a humble way, not breaking it down to the most minute detail and then saying it's not that way. Well, of course, it's not the way that mythological genocidal operators say it is. Everybody knows that, But who's forgiven debt and trespass and loving one another, eternal faithful peace? And then they'll argue about, well, what is love, right? Um, uh, in order to live obeying natural laws with compassion and mercy, okay, you have to be a loving person, right? It doesn't require being logical. It doesn't require being Spock and Sarek or Selek or Srirak or Srirak or Shid or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It doesn't require any of that. And the one person that you guys need to be most aware of in your place in the book, in the apocalypse, in the book, that Bob Marley talked about, the one person that you need to understand the most, okay, is not me, because I just have to correct the technology, the worst espionage surveillance industry, ever invented by man to try to replace creation with philosophy. Okay, so you don't need a personal relationship with Earl. Okay, Earl just has to fix your taxpayer dollars in technology to protect children from inheriting your sin. The person that most, okay, has the most influence and the most presence in your existence, okay, he knows more about you than I do. Your physical self, your self-enriched self, your do anything to win self. You'll kill everybody who crosses you and kills your dog or your cat or whatever self. Okay. And that's a man named David Rockefeller if you're in the United States. And it might have a lot to do with a lot of people across the world, especially everybody involved in quote unquote rabbinic religion denying the living Messiah from the book of Revelation, right? The person that you need to be more aware of, and I've told this to many people in my life, the evil one, leave the evil one to me, I'll take care of it, right? And he believed that you guys were all inherently evil. And that you couldn't be like your Lord. That your Lord would continue to offer you the kingdom of heaven and you would turn it down to try to replace creation with your invention, is what David Rockefeller wholeheartedly, I don't want to say wholeheartedly, what he believed. Okay. They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die to the bitter end, Parsons. Okay, they will invent their own God. They will invent their own religions. They will believe in stuff that isn't true. Okay, and I've known that my whole life. That's what's always troubled me about my own family. It's everything they tell me about their constant study of the Bible. Everything that's mythological, does not hold water, and is not scientifically valid, they believe in. Okay. And everything that Jesus asked us to do that we're capable of doing, they say they don't have to do it. Jesus did it for them. He paid for all their selfish disgustingness. All they have to do is try to be the best person they can and accept him as their God, and then they get to live the kingdom of heaven, forgiveness of debt and trespass, in a magic place between their ears. It's very important that you work on your important muscles, your sipping muscles, right? Got to make that money. Got to do lots of sipping and stuff, That hypocrisy about all those people with the president talking about all the stuff that old Mr. Bad Bunny says, she licks my lollipop and I get her on all fours and stuff like that. Okay. So you grab them by the pussy and tell them what to do? How's that any different than getting her on all fours and licking your lollipop? How people engage in sexual activity is none of your fucking business. All right. If it's not healthy for her or him, don't do it. How me and Amy and Stephanie and Yolanda and, how we had sex was none of your business. Okay. I can guarantee you this, though. I always was concerned, first and foremost and paramount with all the women I had sex with was their mental, emotional, and physical health. Okay. My mom, Mom, why are your teeth like that? How'd that happen? Having babies, right? And me going, oh shit, I don't want that to happen to my wife, And I didn't always try to keep my wife barefoot and pregnant or, put my dancing feet on her couch and have her do all the work and me, and we all know that with Amy, every time she got a job as a manager at one of those papers, that the physical work, every time the physical work had to get done, that it was her husband that did it. Okay. Everybody knows that. When she became the young circulation manager, and then I was always telling her what not to do and not get her in trouble and get her, not scamming and scheming and all that stuff. So yeah. And then when we moved to Sierra Vista, she said, I'm going to try being honest. It seems to work with you. Of course it works with me. Life's eternal and grace is infinite, and I'm the gracious good shepherd. I'm the one like Jeremiah and Elijah in the Bible. We're consistent. And, I'm I'm not. I learned that from the Bible. This dealing with my wife's and my children. Okay, story of the prodigal son, the stories of Jeremiah and Elijah. You don't sit there. Okay, everybody knows. Everybody and their grandma knows. Hell, Oscar Leeser should fucking know, and so should what's the other kid's name? This the mayor of El Paso now, and the whoever the kid Ken Magashima should know. Okay, no, this man. When a woman betrays your wedding vows and then lies to other people about what happened in their wedding, and the children should know. They were old enough to know. Okay. No, dad was faithful to mom. Dad always brought his check home to take care of the kids, and mom lied to the courts and lied to everybody and took all her money to go to the bar and screw around. Okay? Happened in both marriages. Okay. Both marriages. Everybody knows it. I know it. You know it. Dan Aykroyd should know it. Dana Carvey should know it. Barbara Streisand's husband and stepson should know it. Right? Mr. Data, who runs farting, 25 people went into the water, only 23 came out, right? So, this is what you're doing, and this is what I want you to do. Do you tell me shut up? You catch on straight away, right? So, I don't have to. What do I have to apologize for? I don't want anybody to apologize to me. I just want you to go and sin this sin no more. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Do you really love women and children? Do you really love your neighbor? Do you love your neighbor as thyself? Do you understand? Okay. And so, last night was tough. So they attacked me with the depression of that kid in El Paso on American Idol and my Emily, and how it affects Kate and Amy and and all that stuff. And you just got to realize, wanting to commit suicide is not a solution at all. Okay. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. It's like I've explained numerous times. Okay. From a Buddhist perspective, it's a temporary attempt at a solution to a perpetual problem. Unless you find a way for technology to completely eradicate any of your species, if you take, and I don't even think that's tangible. I don't think that's tangible. I think if you kill all saber-toothed tigers, that the lion and the tiger and the cougar and the bobcat have similar molecular structures for spiritual splicing and continuation, that it'll still have an essence of memory. Now, I don't know, Slipknot. No, I don't. I wasn't a creature before I was a man, and I could do this before I could stand. No, I don't feel that way. Feel it's as if it might be possible that the symbiotic mechanisms could have been present on a deep impact during the time of the dinosaurs that had a symbiotic relationship for a form of creation and evolution as you perceive it for a human, Homo sapien, a humanoid species type thing. But no, I don't see myself, I'm not a velociraptor, nor a pterodactyl, nor a T-Rex, or a Brontosaurus B. Okay. So I'm not Littlefoot, and not Manny the Moody Mammoth. Okay. Or Diego the saber-toothed tiger there. All right. So you see yourself the way you see yourself. I see myself the way I see myself. Okay. But you better make sure, okay, that it's based on a truthful reality, faithful to the laws required for your physical existence to obey and love faithfully, and be far more humble, which is far more superior to any people that manipulate matter, call their invention creation, and try to eliminate creation with their invention and their ego. Okay. So if you've ever read the Gospels about Jeremiah and Elijah, okay, you'll understand exactly why I behave the way I behave, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why it's necessary for me to do it. Well, because I'm sick and tired of watching Megan Thee Stallion on Planet Fitness and Dunkin' Donuts commercials. Because if there was a girl like that we went to school with together and stuff, and she came up to me, and I was a star on the basketball team and started liking me, I was like, oh, dang it, I had the same things with Tella and with Peggy and shit. I'm getting sick and tired of this fucking shit. I'm tired of fucking Tony at Homeland Security, and I'm tired of No, I never got into it with Clint, okay? I didn't know Clint. I didn't know who he was and shit like that. But I know he's a complete asshole. Okay? And if no, Marley will tell you that. Marley sat there and said to her mother, you have to leave Dad or he'll end up killing you. Okay? Mom, you're foolish if you stay with Dad. That's what Marley said. Okay, if you stay with him, Mom, he will end up killing you. He's that selfish. He's that macho. He's that, he's that full of himself. Okay? The daughter was able to understand she did not want to be like the father. Okay? And that was hard too, because the mother, has a lot of things, demons that she has to carry with and deal with, and it's hard. And I had those same situations and those same things going on with all the kids involved in my life with their mothers. Okay? Now, you either understand your sin and overcome your sin and go and sin this sin no more, or you become a product of your sin. And that's all you're going to, through eternal wretchedness, that's all you're going to have to pass on to the children, which is horrible. Okay? So is Rockefeller really right about all of you? They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, Parsons, till the bitter end. Okay, is Rockefeller really right about you? Now, you can sit there and be all cocky and think you're going to keep doing this and doing this and doing this, and you're unchecked and you're never going to be stopped, and you're large and in charge. Okay, you can keep thinking that way. Right? You're entitled to be on TV and be, what's that kid's name? Mr. Ivy's mommy here at Notre Dame, making investment commercials and doing all that shake thing with the girls, and being all smart, making money, using money, and fucking people in the head over money and fucking yourself with it too. But it ain't going to make your murder go away. It's not going to make your genocidal tribalism go away. It's not going to make the Sphinx go away. It's not going to make all the phallic symbols in Egypt and Washington, D.C. go away. All right? You guys are more concerned about a big penis across the pond of water in Washington, D.C. than you are about Dinkelman being loved and loving him. And he's the most faithful, beautiful person that any of you anonymous assholes have ever had in your life. And you only have me through a ghost, through a window in your fucked up little hand. Okay? Get your Zizal. 24 hour Zizal. It's Wyzol. Oh, fuck. It's a drug. It's a way to alter your brain chemical activity to survive the rape with Connie Chung and Bobby Knight. Okay, that's all it is. You laugh. Hey, I got a little Tupac. You know what I mean? Well, Tupac's got a little bit of him in me. Yeah, well, one, I think I'm older than he was. I don't think he was born in 66. I think he's younger than me. Okay. Now, Keith was older than me. Yeah, we've talked. Or as a program. In order for that program to exist and me to talk to it, I talked to Keith Elam. Guys, Keith Elam was raised Muslim. Okay? Malik did the same thing. They sit down and have prayers with the 13th, 22nd, and Redeemer. The man who's like Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John during the apocalypse. Every good, real, rational, sane person that wants to be a good Muslim sits down and tries to talk to him. So when the man comes, there will be no doom, one song. And I have to know who you are. They already know who I am. I'm the 13th, 22nd Redeemer. Bob thought I was black. So did Malcolm. Yeah. When we talked, because we both have a intellectual dialect and stuff, but when we get comfortable around each other, it's like, he didn't see my face. He couldn't see my face in the future. But he's like, he swore, just like Bob Marley, he's black. He's like us, like all the kids in lockup used to say to me, all the black and the Mexican and the Indian and the Native Americans, because they're not Indians, but no, Dad, you're one of us. Like Josie Provincia Javier, you're one of us. You're one of us. It's like, we are all family. I'm not a proud brown brother. I am proud of the people that are faithful to the faith of Jesus Christ and Muhammad and the others. And I'm proud of their devotion to that love and that peace, So I'm proud to say I've talked to Malik in prayer. I'm proud to say I've talked to Keith in prayer. I've also talked to Tupac in prayer, yes. Okay. He had times where he said, because he did. He said, guys, Tupac said, okay, I may not be around when it happens, okay, but I'm gonna help inspire him to believe in us, that we'll step up and do it, with him. Because you a Muslim now? How many friends did he have that were trying to be good Muslims? That I don't know. And they didn't talk to me. But they did talk to Pac, and I talked to Pac, right? I'm sure Pac and Keith might have talked. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask none of that. That wasn't part of our conversations. And so, you can't make up conversations that you had with the people that talk to you, and when you pray, you can only tell them, the same story over and over again, because that was the time and that was the place, and that's, and you think more is going to happen. It doesn't feel like it. Me and Malik said all we had to say, and it was good, and it'll do. And the same with Keith and stuff. So, if you don't believe in my prayers, you're entitled to believe in anything you want to believe. But Star Trek's bullshit. Gene Roddenberry's full of shit. L. Ron Hubbard's full of shit. Dave Miscavige's full of shit. Tom Cruise full of shit. Pentagon's full of shit. Vatican's full of shit. Quorum of the 12's full of shit. You can believe all that money manipulating, pimp ho, daddy Nash, bullshit if you want to. The Art of the Steal, The Art of the Deal, the Mein Kampf, the Prince, Machiavelli. You can believe all that shit. But if it's illegit and it's based on fallacy, invention, and manipulation to try to destroy creation with your ego, you getting what you get, man. All right? We'll talk later, yeah? Okay? Peace out.